Calling to order the Committee on International and Legal Affairs, noting that 8 members are present, 1 is excused. Okay, members, Pursuant to Section 92-3.7 HRS, this meeting will be conducted as a remote meeting by interactive conference technology with the following procedures in effect for the meeting. Members of the public will be allowed to provide oral testimony on all items on the agenda in person in the council chamber or remotely when each agenda item is taken up. As both English and Hawaiian are official languages of the state of Hawaii, pursuant to Article 15, Section 4 of the Hawaii State Constitution and Section 1-13 of the HRS, members of the public may testify in either language. For oral testimonies offered in Olelo, Hawaii, additional time as may be necessary will be allowed for the testifier to provide an English translation of their testimony. Before testifying, each person shall state their name. Each speaker may not have anyone else read their statement and is limited to a 1-minute presentation on each item. Once in-person testimony has concluded, I will proceed to those who have registered to testify remotely by video conference. When your name is called, please monitor your screen and activate your audio feed when prompted. I will then give persons who have not registered an opportunity to offer testimony. Please utilize the raised hand feature in Zoom to be called on. For those joining us by telephone only, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. I will identify you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When your number is called, please press *6 to unmute yourself when prompted. Some friendly reminders and tips. Video conference from a quiet location if possible. If you are also watching the proceedings on Olelo, please mute your television at the time you are called to testify. When the timer on screen reaches 0, please conclude your remarks promptly. HRS Section 92-3.7 requires all votes at remote meetings to be conducted by a roll call unless unanimous. Therefore, I will call for objections, and if there are any, I will call for a roll call vote. For those council members participating outside the council chamber, I don't see any. Okay. Written testimonies, including the testifier's address, email address, and phone number, will be available to the public as described on the posted agenda. Cell phones, as a courtesy, please turn off all cell phones. Okay, members, we have an ambitious agenda today. If we can keep questions to a minimum, and members of the public, I am not trying to stifle public debate, but if you can stand on your testimony, please do so. Okay? Agenda item number 1, Resolution 26-182, accepting of a gift. Andy Suggs, Chief of Staff, Mayor of Honolulu.
For the record, it's Sugg, but thank you. Andy Sugg, Mayor's Chief of Staff. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair. We are very happy to accept this gift on behalf of the Mayor and the Managing Director.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify in the chamber, please come forward. Seeing none, any remote?
Chair, there are none.
Okay, members, any questions? Thank you, Mr. Sugg.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, members are in discussion. Chair recommends that Resolution 26-182 be reported out for adoption. Any WRs or no's? Okay, thank you, members. Agenda item number 2, Resolution 26-191, accepting of a gift. Andy Sugg, Chief of Staff.
Aloha, Chair. Andy Sugg again, Mayor's Chief of Staff. Again, very happy to accept this gift on behalf of Wei Chen and our office for a conference that she attended recently. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the audience wishing to testify, please come forward. See none. Any remote testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
See none. Thank you. Members, any questions? Thank you. Okay, members in decision making, Chair recommends that Resolution 26-191 be reported out for adoption. Any WRs or no's? See none. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Agenda item number 3, Resolution 26-184, This is renewing our sister city relationship with Cebu, Philippines. First up is Jennifer Santos, Executive Director, Office of the Mayor's Culture and Arts.
Aloha Mai Kako, Committee Chair, Chair Waters, members of the Council. Jennifer Santos, Executive Director of the Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts. If I may also take this opportunity to introduce Anita Aravena, who's joined the MOCA team as our Sister Cities Liaison. We are in support of 26-184 with no objections.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else in the audience wishing to testify, please come forward. Seeing none, any remote testimony?
Chair, there are none.
Okay, thank you. Members, any questions?
Just discussion, Chair. I just want to thank you for hearing this. I have a deep connection to Cebu, so I'm looking forward to extending this, renewing our sister city connections. And it's a maayong maligayang adlaw, and daghang salamat for hearing this measure today.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. We're going to move to decision-making members. Chair's recommendation will be to amend the resolution. I believe that there's language that says it's Managing Director Designee in the bill. Since we confirmed our Managing Director now, we're going to change that to just Managing Director. Okay, so we're going to make that amendment. Any WRs or no's? Okay, see none. Thank you. Agenda item number 4, Resolution 26-185, Sister City Guidelines. Jennifer Santos, Executive Director.
Thank you, Chair. We wanted to thank you for taking the time and intention in modifying this request. We are in support with one ask, and it's actually further into the emeritus implementation portion, where it refers to the city, sister cities reporting, the annual reporting. It aligns to the December 31st calendar date, and our ask is whether we can align this to the fiscal calendar for the reporting to be due on June 30th of the fiscal year.
Okay, committee will take it under advisement. Okay, anyone else wishing to testify? Please come forward. See none. Any remote testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Okay, thank you. Members, any questions? Okay, see none. All right, members, we're in decision making. Chair's recommendation is to amend the measure, again, making the same change from acting managing director in the measure to managing director, correct? Managing director designee to. Managing director designee to managing director. Okay. Okay. Any WRs or no's, members? Okay. See none. Thank you. Next, agenda item number 5, Resolution 26-71, approving the sale of surplus city property. We will call Andy Kawano first. Director, Budget and Fiscal Services.
Committee Chair Nishimoto, honorable council members, Andy Kawano, Director of Budget and Fiscal Services, working with DES, DDC, and the rest of our staff. BFS supports the sale of the surplus property, as the property is landlocked, and we've checked with other departments and don't have another use for the property currently.
Okay, thank you. Dita Holyfield, Director, Department of Enterprise Services, is she here? Okay, all right. Is there anyone else wishing to testify? Please come forward now. See none. Any remote testimony?
Chair, there are none.
Okay, see none. Members, any questions?
Discussion. Chair, I just wanted to thank Departments of Budget and Fiscal Services and Department of Enterprise Services for meeting with me. I feel that you did a thorough job, and that was my only questions, because when it comes to selling public lands, I do care that you endeavored to do everything possible to see if there are alternative ways of either keeping the property or working in concert with community-based organizations in the area. So I just wanted to say thank you for your due diligence, and I fully support this measure.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick question for Director Kawano. I'm not sure if it's for you or for, I don't see anybody here from DHLM. I was just wondering how often this happens and when the last time we have a record of us selling city property.
I think the last one, it doesn't happen very often. The last time I did one was that mini park on Pensacola. And I recall the issue was preserving that big tree, which actually went down, right? I think during Konalo, the tree went down, but that one went through. That was the last one I recall.
And I know Councilmember Kiana mentioned that the city went through extensive avenues before selling it. What were the paths that we took before making the decision to release
It was a
these two
long
properties?
process. Actually, the discussion of selling those lots started well before our administration. But in terms of our involvement, it included over the years sending a memo out to the departments to confirm that there's no use. I recall that there was also a review by DCS for possible sheltering for homeless. They went out there and they were concerned about the fact that the access to the land was challenged. There was an obstacle. There's a stream running through it. And then it's actually in floodplain as well. So they decided not to proceed. So I feel like we've put forth adequate effort to find a new use. And I think selling it to the interested party makes sense.
Okay, thank you, Director. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Rep. Keanu.
Chair, it's just that the deputy for Enterprise Services has just come in. If anybody has any questions, because it was their property by the golf course. So I just wanted to alert you of that. You called Director Holofood earlier and she wasn't here. So I just wanted to say that Deputy Director is here if anybody has any questions.
Okay, any questions for the Deputy Director or anyone else? Okay, see none. Members, for decision-making, Chair recommends Resolution 26-71 be reported out for adoption. Any WRs or noes? Okay, see none, thank you. Agenda item number 6, Bill 48. Members, please note we have a posted proposed CD1. Okay, we're going to call Executive Director Lori Kahikina first from HART.
Good afternoon, Committee Chair, Chair Waters, Council members. Thank you very much for putting this bill on the agenda. We are in full support of 48 and the changes that are being made. So just to clarify, the reason for this is to make it extremely clear that HART is semi-autonomous. We are not part of the executive organization. And so we just want to make that perfectly clear with the changes that are being proposed in the language changes. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify, please come forward. See none. Any remote testimony?
Chair, there are none.
Okay, thank you. Members, any questions? Okay, see none. All right, members, Chair's recommendation that Bill 48 be amended to the posted CD1, identified as what it is. Any discussion? Any WRs or noes? Okay, see none. Thank you. All right, it has come to my attention that we didn't take public testimony on the last one. Okay, so should we go back then? Is that what we're, okay? All right. Okay, so for Resolution 26-71, it's the surplus city property. Is there anyone who wishes to testify in person? Any remote testimony?
Chair, there are none.
Shall we retake the vote? No, don't have to? Okay. All right. People had their chance. Okay, next one. We are going to agenda item number 7, Bill 16. This is the regulation of dogs. Please note there's a proposed CD2. First up, Kimberly Hashiro, Director, Department of Customer Services.
Hi, good afternoon. Committee Chair Nishimoto, Vice Chair Tupola, Chair Waters, and members. Kim Hashiro, Director for the Department of Customer Services. We support Bill 16. We've been working on it for quite some time together with Councilmember Okimoto, and we appreciate Council's incorporation of the recommended administrative rules and effective date that we had requested.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wanting to testify, please come forward. Seeing none, any remote testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Okay, thank you. Members, any questions?
Aloha, Director. Thank you for being here. So this specific bill, when passed and implemented, will be something that pertains to just the Humane Society contract and how they deal with it, or would it be HPD enforcement as well? Like, what is the breadth of who would need to know about the law change?
Well, it would be a combined effort amongst all of the entities that would enforce this bill. So Humane Society is often called in when there is a dangerous dog situation working with HPD, but ultimately it would be the penalties that are being enforced by this bill or increased by this bill.
So it's mainly just the penalties being more severe. I don't know, we always have dog issues in Waianae, always.
Yes, it's to recognize the severity of some of the cases that have occurred and to make the penalties stronger.
And this is nothing that, or maybe it is, will you be sharing or should we share with DLNR? Only because in some of our issues, it is actually dogs that are like up in the mountains attacking other animals, but is it just where we just, hope people know, or is it something you guys will be kind of sending communication out about?
We can take the lead on that, and we can work with the other agencies to ensure that everyone's aware.
Yeah, that would be good. Thank you so much, Director. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, members, any other questions? Ripwire.
Thank you, Chair. Director, I'm just curious, what was the definition of stray again?
I'm sorry, definition of stray?
Yeah. I was just double checking. I'm sorry. We can pull it up later because it's in the ROH. So I just thought maybe you had it on you. Because I'm just curious.
Sorry, Councilmember, I don't have that on hand. We can provide that.
Okay. Because if the dog bites someone, it's a misdemeanor already. But this, I'm just wanting to make sure. So this is like your dog jumps out of your yard.
Yeah, so it's the owner's responsibility to restrain animals and prevent them from hurting others.
Yeah. But then this is specifically upping the fine if the dog is just loose.
Yes, or gets loose.
Okay. Okay. Mahalo. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? All right, moving to decision making.
Chair, I just have a quick discussion, if that's okay. Not question, but discussion.
ahead.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for hearing this measure in your committee. I do want to extend my mahalo to Director Hashiro. You and your team have been working pretty diligently with my team. I also want to thank, I send a mahalo to Representative Corey Chun, my colleague across the street, for first bringing this matter to my attention. This was a great opportunity for us to work with our state counterparts, and I'm thankful for that. Bill 1626 and Ordinance 26-9 are the culmination of a nearly 2-year-long effort with the Department of Customer Services and the Hawaiian Humane Society to amend and modernize existing city ordinances. Bill 1626 and Ordinance 26-9 provide CSD and the Humane Society with the new tools which are necessary to enforce existing law to regulate stray dogs and animal nuisances within the city. I'm optimistic that this new strategy will allow the city and the Humane Society to hold irresponsible pet owners accountable more effectively while ensuring the safety of our community members are protected. And I thank you again, Chair, for hearing this measure. Mahalo.
Okay, thank you. Shout out to Corey Chun. All right, anyone else? Okay, Chair's recommendation is that Bill 16 CD1 be amended to the posted CD2. pass with the amendments. Any WRs or no's?
Reservations. Reservations.
Reservations, okay. I don't have to take a roll call on roll call? No, okay. Reservations noted for Councilmember Wire. Anyone else? Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 8, Bill 52. This is about streets, sidewalks, malls, and other public places. Major Okimoto, HPD.
Hello, council members. My name is Paul Okimoto. I'm the major with the Honolulu Police Department, in charge of District 6 Waikiki. I submitted testimony earlier, we should have, and I stand by the testimony. Thank you very much.
Thank you, appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to testify, please come forward. See none. Any remote testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Okay, no remote testifiers. Members, any questions? Really? Okay. All right. I guess we'll have a discussion now if you'd like, members. No?
Real quick, thank you so much for having a hearing on this bill, and thank you to HPD for helping. Waikiki has gotten a lot better, but we do still have illegal peddlers in Waikiki. You know, it's really expensive to do business and pay property taxes and rent in Waikiki, and especially these illegal tour businesses who have no overhead. $100 fine for them is just part of doing business. It really is, and they'll take the fine and just keep doing the illegal activity. So what this bill does is it raises the fines, and it gives the HPD just another tool to try to dissuade these illegal peddlers from doing business. So thank you very much. Hope I can count on your all support. Thank you.
Okay.
Chair?
Members, any other discussion?
Could I have a quick question, Major Okimoto? For clarity, this does not count for anything on any highways, is that correct? I mean, peddlers that are on the side of the highway. So we have Farrington Highway coming in, so these fines don't pertain to that?
I'm not sure if I can answer that. My experience is just in Waikiki with the peddlers that we see along Kalakaua and Kuhio Avenues, but I can't say for certain. I'm not sure if it's as
Yeah, because it does say
strictly for
public
Waikiki.
places, so I didn't know public places contain that. I will say that coming into my community, that it's usually side of the road peddlers. We had a bunch on Hawaiian Homes property that Hawaiian Homes ended up taking care of, but I just wanted to know the jurisdiction. I know you're for Waikiki, and good on Chair Waters for doing this, but there's peddlers other places. So do you think you could maybe send my office like where the parameters are so we know when we can contact?
We could see if this is part of the Waikiki's special to Waikiki district. I don't know if it is or not, but we can definitely research that for you.
Yeah, I don't see that it's geographic. So when you guys do research it, I would like to know where it pertains in my community so that we can also call in them when we need to. Lots of people ask us who to call, but we were told if it was on highways that somehow DOT had to regulate it, but I don't know if that's true either.
Understand.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Major. Thank you, Chair.
Off the top of my head, I'm going to say that there was an exemption for certain things, and I think it's what you're talking about, that there's an exemption from this. We can do the research and get it to you. But I think what you're probably talking about, like fruit and lau, everything, pickle mango, that should be part of the exemption. We'll look it up. Okay, thank you. I forgot where we are. Are we in discussion? We are, and you want to, okay.
Well, I may be able to answer some of those questions. The peddling statute actually allows for legal peddling in certain circumstances, right? Like in Waikiki, you can sell a lei or fish, as an example, legally. I've never seen anybody selling fish in the sidewalks of Waikiki, but you can do it. Anyway, so the law actually applies or allows peddling in certain situations. We're talking about illegal peddling. The other thing is, it wouldn't apply on the highway because the city doesn't have jurisdiction over the highway. That would be DOT, yeah. Perhaps, yeah. But anyway, thank you. Thank you for the discussion.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to comment on this? Okay, seeing none. Chair's recommendation is that Bill 52 be reported out for second reading.
Reservations, sorry.
Recess, subject to the call of the chair. Okay, sorry about that, members. Let's try this again. Chair recommends that Bill 52 be reported out for second reading and scheduled for a public hearing. Any WRs or noes?
WR.
WR for Councilmember Wire. Anyone else? Okay, see none. Thank you, members. All right, moving to agenda item number 9, Resolution 26-193, about water. Okay, we will call Ernest Lau first from Board of Water Supply.
Thank you, Chair and members. Ernie Lau, Manager and Chief Engineer for the Honolulu Board of Water Supply. I just want to say mahalo to Councilmember Cordero for having this drafted. The issue is Red Hill. It is not only a petroleum contamination issue, but it's also a forever chemical issue. They are finding substantial amounts of forever chemicals on the Navy property and also in nearby areas. And this requests increased testing, frequency of testing and locations of testing, finding new monitor wells, using existing monitor wells to start testing for PFAS. Because Red Hill is not POW, it's not only a petroleum issue, but it's also a forever chemical problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify, please come forward. See none. Any remote testifiers?
Yes, we have Dylan Armstrong standing by.
Okay, Mr. Armstrong, please go ahead.
Chair Nishimoto, can you hear me?
Go ahead, Mr. Armstrong.
Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Happy to stand on my written testimony at this time. Mahalo.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to remote testify, please raise your hand. Okay, see none. Members, any questions? Councilmember Cordero. No.
Questions for Board of Water Supply. Hi, Mr. Lau. Thank you for being present and for meeting with me about the effects that's going westerly in my community. I recognize that a letter response to your June 16 letter from the joint regulators from both the EPA and Department of Health responded, but has there been any collaborative efforts to further determine if remedial investigation work will help determine if the Navy should be expanding their sampling to the near Red Hill areas? Have they come back to you since then?
They did respond with a letter asking for more data from us, which we are assembling to provide to the EPA and the Department of Health. They did point out that there is a CERCLA investigation, a Superfund type of investigation on PFAS chemicals at Red Hill underway right now. They didn't respond, they didn't agree to expand the investigation, but to their credit, on their website for the CERCLA investigation, and I want to make this available to the community, is redhillern.com. They did post our Board of Water Supply letter there with all of its attachments, and they also posted the EPA DOH response. So I think attention on this matter, continued attention by the community and through the Restoration Advisory Board, the RAB, will help keep the efforts moving forward. Thank you.
Mahalo, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Members, any other questions? Okay, see none. Any discussion?
Chair, thank you. In my tenure of representing the area of the Red Hill bulk fuel facility, as well as the specific Navy areas, as well as the Moanalua, Aiea areas shared with Councilmember Okimoto, but recognizing that this is a whole island issue, my community really wanted to continue to have this at the forefront. So we want to mahalo you, I want to mahalo the collaborative efforts seen from the responses from both BWS and the regulators. But me and my community hope to see that the regulators of Department of Health and EPA further request the Navy provide those data so both the Navy, DOH, and the Board of Water Supply can know how much more of our aquifer, other monitoring wells, and other areas are affected by either PFAS or other forever chemicals. So mahalo for hearing this for our committee, and I hope this body would support this measure. Mahalo.
Okay, members, any other discussion? Okay, see none. Chair recommends that Resolution 26-193 be reported out for adoption. Any WRs or noes? Thank you, members. Okay, members, we're going to move to executive session. Members, we will now move to executive session. The following items as posted on the agenda have been referred to executive session. I will read the items individually to allow for oral public testimony on each item. Testifiers will testify on all executive session items together. The time allotted for each testimony on each item is 1 minute as set forth on the agenda. Agenda item number 10, foreclosure on real property. Agenda item number 11, Tamashiro versus City and County. Agenda item number 12, Taua versus City and County. Agenda item number 13, settle towing claims with all island wreckers. We'll now proceed to in-person testimony. Anyone wishing to testify, please come forward. Seeing none. Any remote testifiers?
Chair, there are none.
Okay, seeing none. Members, are there any objections to resolving into executive session? Seeing none. With no objections, the committee resolves into executive session pursuant to HRS Section 92-4 and 92-5A4 to consult with its attorneys on questions, issues pertaining to the powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and/or liabilities of the city and the council on the items listed on the agenda for executive session. The following persons will be participating in executive session. All council members present. From the Department of Corporation Counsel, Deputy Corporation Counsel Yost, Saito, Warrington, Moriki, and Miyashiro. From the Office of Council Services, Director Winton Park, Deputy Director Jana Pitcher, and Staff Attorney Scott Matsuda. Recess. Okay, let's go. Committee on International and Legal Affairs is reconvened in open session pursuant to sections 92-4 and 92-5A4 of the HRS. The committee has consulted in executive session with its attorneys on questions, issues pertaining to the powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and their liabilities of the city and county on the items listed on agenda for executive session. Agenda item number 10, Chair's recommendation is to pass the legal action to foreclose on real property. Any WRs or noes? Thank you. Agenda item number 11, Tamashiro versus City and County of Honolulu. Recommendation is to pass. Any WRs or noes? Seeing none, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 12, Chair's recommendation is to authorize a settlement in a lawsuit against the City and County of Honolulu entitled Taua versus City and County of Honolulu. Any WRs or noes? Seeing none, final measure, Chair's recommendation is to authorize settlement of towing claims. I'm sure there's discussion. Any discussion?
Just brief. I'll just say that I'll go with reservations. There's a lot of detail in here, and of course, we want to make anybody whole who was maybe disadvantaged by any hookups, but I do hope that on the city side, that as far as we're concerned, however we deal with our vendors, that we deal with them honestly and we try our best, that we, anyone who wants to work for the city, that they're able to be paid and then pay out other people. But thank you very much to Corp Council for your work on this. I do think that anytime a department needs funds, they need to go through the budget process, because I think that that is actually where a lot of this stems from, is the budgetary concerns about the department paying out the contract so that they can cover this. But I see that this is a different method, I guess a different mechanism to get it done. So thank you, Chair.
Okay, understood. Any other WRs or noes? Okay, see none, measure passes. Thank you, members.